All right, everybody. Samori Benjamin here with Pittsburgh Pirates assistant pitching coach Brent Strom. Brent, Mr. Strom, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure, Samori.
Yeah, and I was out here and I heard you talking about a big game that's coming on tonight in Boston, Knicks and Celtics, and you started talking about your Celtics, and you told me a great story about how you became a Celtic fan. But yeah, I mean, how about that?
Yeah, you know, it's a big game. We have a game here tonight. I will possibly be checking in mid-innings to see how my Celts are doing. I became a Celtic fan when I was a kid. My dad was born in Worcester, Mass. Born in San Diego, so I didn't have a team to cheer for. Kind of adopted all the Boston teams. Red Sox. Ted Williams was my favorite player. Patriots back in the day. But I became a big Celtic fan, and what really turned it for me when I was 10 years old, 1958. I looked at the newspaper and I saw the Celtics were in first place. And I looked over to my right to see the highest scorers in the league, thinking I would see some Celtics. And I didn't see anybody in the top 10. And I as a young man, as a young kid, I said, it can't be possible. How could they not have a top scorer in the league? And then I did a deep dive and saw 11 through 20, they had like 4 players. And I realized that they passed the ball well, they played as a team, and from that day on, I became a lifelong Celtic fan. Followed the Russell era, the Heinsohn, the Cousy, the Cowens, the Birds. My favorite Celtic of all time is John Havlicek, and would diligently watch games. I did have the opportunity to go to the Old Garden with some names that you might remember. 1984, a friend of mine, Bob Cluck, and the late Tony Gwynn, and Alan Trammell, shortstop with the Tigers. We all went back to Boston and watched a Laker-Celtic game, and Lakers ended up winning on a Magic Johnson shot, but those are the memories of the Celts. So it's a big game for my Celts tonight. Without their star, we'll see if they can conjure up the leprechaun and get a W.
Yeah, and again, you were watching them as a kid from San Diego. So yeah, I mean, at that time, no internet. The world was a lot different than television. The games were not on TV the way they are now. So how were you able to keep track of them?
Well, Sunday afternoons, as I got older, they used to play the games on Sunday afternoons. And I remember watching Celtics 76ers, a lot of that with Andrew Toney and Chamberlain against Russell, and all that was fabulous theater. But now sometimes I'll check in, and what worries me the most is when my Celts get a 20-point lead, they seem to filter it away quite quickly. The ghost of Red Auerbach needs to come back and light a cigar for me to win. But you take a bond with the team and you live and die with them, and that's what makes sports fun.
Okay, so as a Celtic fan growing up, when was the first time the Knicks became a factor?
Well, the Knicks were a factor, obviously, with I think it was in '69. It was the Busher, Bradley, Frazier, Earl of Pearl Monroe, Willis Reed grouping, that Phil Jackson, and that whole group, and they played team ball. If you think about it, the way they moved the ball around, they played great basketball, and it just goes to show that 5 is better than 1, so it was fun. But it's 25 years since the Knicks have been in the Eastern Division Championship, so I'm sure they're pretty excited about tonight. The Brunson guy is a special player. They have other pieces that can play, but should be a good game tonight. My guy that needs to step up for me is Porzingis. I need him to come forward for me tonight, and
former Knick,
and we'll see how he does.
Yeah, for Porzingis, actually, the last regular season game the Knicks played Boston about a month ago at the Garden. Porzingis had like 34 points in that game. So yeah, Boston definitely needs him to step up tonight. One Eastern Conference Finals matchup. I'm sure you remember well. 1973, when the Knicks, that was the first time Boston lost in Game 7 on their home court. Knicks beat them in the conference finals to go to the NBA finals that year. And you said your Havlicek, your favorite Celtic. I believe he was hurt in that series. So what do you remember just about that?
Well, I just remember, the disappointment. I've seen Celtics win Game 7s. In fact, it's funny, speaking of Havlicek, the first album I ever got was Johnny Most saying Havlicek stole the ball. That was against the 76ers when they impounded the ball with 1 point in the Game 7 and Havlicek stole it.
Yeah, iconic.
But the Knicks-Celtics, Boston, Philadelphia 76ers rivalries were great. So much so that I remember when Philadelphia beat the Celtics in the Eastern Division Finals, the Boston fans were yelling "Beat LA." They have this camaraderie, where East is East, and they relish the Eastern Conference, so to speak. So it shows
Oh, yeah.
it shows all the way down. And of course, I got burned a few times with the Miami Heat. Had some great teams, and it goes on and on. But it's great theater, and you obviously follow it just like I do, and so you have fun with it. So
Oh, definitely. You know what? And I could talk to you all day about that. I want to get to your career really quickly.
Yeah.
Now, you're from San Diego, and at that time growing up, there wasn't. Well, I guess the Dodgers and Giants came to
1962 or 1959. I'm sorry.
57.
57. That's right.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's the first time pro baseball on the West Coast. But how do you remember getting into baseball coming up?
Well, my dad took me to a Pacific Coast League game in San Diego as a 10-year-old, and I saw the green grass and all this. And I remember it was the Vancouver Mounties against the San Diego Padres AAA game, and I thought it was the big leagues. I didn't know any difference. Then when the Dodgers came out, the Giants came out. In fact, I always get a trivia thing about why are the Mets colors the way they are. It's from the Giants and the Dodgers, the combination.
Yep.
But I remember going to college in Los Angeles and watching great Dodger teams play. And of course, Koufax was my favorite pitcher of all time. I worked for the Dodgers for a while and saw some games. And really, I remember the '59 World Series, Dodgers winning the World Series against the White Sox. I remember obviously the next year the Pirates win the World Series, so anyway, long story short, pitched in college, got signed by the Mets, made my debut in Shea Stadium, not too far from here, I don't think, and against Montreal, still remember it, and then got traded to Cleveland. I ended up finishing my career in San Diego, and for people who don't know, I was the second person to ever have Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I saw that.
And but then got into coaching, and so I was fortunate to get with some really good teams. Had a really good run in Houston, a really good run in Diamondbacks, and so I'm kind of at the tail end right now, just helping out as the assistant coach. I don't have to fret and worry as much as I used to, but so anyway.
In college, you won 2 championships.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
At USC.
68 and 70, the University of Southern California. Played with some great players, Jim Barr of the Giants, Dave Kingman, Bill Lee from the Boston Red Sox were all on our team, so we had some great teams. So it was a good time at SC baseball. Yeah.
Wow. So you played with Dave Kingman and Bill Lee. Wow.
Yeah.
And also, I know OJ was at USC when you were there.
OJ was in 60. Yeah, I was in SC in 68 through 70, and OJ used to come out and take BP. Wasn't a very good hitter, but I saw all his games, and he was a special football player. But
won the Heisman. Yeah.
So it was kind of fun times.
Good stuff. All right, as a pitching coach, I know you had the chance to be part of the championship team and part of another team that was in the World Series a couple of years ago with the Diamondbacks. So what's it been like for you just being a pitching coach? And if I can ask you, who's the most talented pitcher that you've ever had a chance to work with?
That's a good question. I get asked that question a great deal. It's hard for me to differentiate. I have a 1A and 1B. I think in my top 5, I would put Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Dallas Keuchel, who won a Cy Young Award for me. The young man that's here in Pittsburgh, the short time I've been with him, Paul Skeens, is obviously on a fast track. I think of 2 of my favorite pitchers, though, if I had 2 that I really enjoyed being around. One was a guy by the name of Shane Reynolds with the Houston Astros, and the other was Charlie Morton, who I had in Houston, one of the finest human beings that I've ever been around. And so, I've been fortunate to be with some good teams, good players. Saw a young Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, Diamondbacks, obviously, with Corbin Carroll now is a special talent to be heard from. But so that would be the ones that I've been able to work with. But the list is a lot. When you've been around as long as I have, you forget more than you remember, to be honest with you. So.
Right. Okay. So the last one. Okay. So you're a longtime baseball man from the time you were playing to now. Most talented player that you've ever had the chance to
watch?
Yes, to watch.
That's a good question. Very good question. And I would have to say, when he is healthy, was Mike Trout.
Mike Trout, okay. Nice.
Yeah, when he's healthy, I think he probably rates up there. I think, obviously, I think the greatest right-handed hitter I ever got to see was, hitting-wise, solo, would be Albert Pujols when I worked for the Cardinals. Closely followed with Manny and Cabrera. Left-handed, obviously, seeing Ichiro play, seeing a lot of good hitters that way. But the list goes on and on. Been there a long time.
Thank you, and folks, again, longtime baseball man and former Met. He made his debut here with the Mets, 1972. Now Pittsburgh Pirates assistant pitching coach Brent Strom. Brent, thank you so much, and go Knicks.
My pleasure. Go
you.
Knicks. You had to put that in there, didn't you?
All right, folks, we're back.